My name's Chris Hines. I'm a vegan YouTuber, activist. Before we start, just a bit, so I can kind of get to know you guys a little bit more. Is anyone here already vegan? Got vegans? I think everybody's vegan, okay. Vegetarians? Yeah, vegetarian. And I guess no meat eaters, which is what we want in the world. So, well done everyone, they're putting in some effort. Now basically, I guess for the vegetarians today, just to kind of clear up kind of what veganism actually means. Vegan is a term for a person who tries to avoid animal products in all aspects of their life. So that's from what they eat to what they wear, and basically just avoiding kind of animals and animal exploitation in every way they can. Obviously, we are realistic, you know, even walking down the road, I might step on a bug or something like that. You can't eliminate 100% of harm, but there are a lot of things that we can avoid, which are just really easy, and they're just obviously just going to make the world a bit of a nicer place. Now, before I start, I just want you to know the organisers of this haven't paid me in any way to be here. I'm doing this completely voluntary. I paid for the train fare to get here. I'm only here because I feel this is something that I really genuinely care about, and I just want to tell more people in the hope that they care about it too, because I think it is one of the biggest kind of social justice, environmental, and even human issues of our time, really, at the moment. Now, just to kind of kick everything off a bit, I just want to kind of get you to kind of think about something. The word humane. Now, this is a word that's used quite regularly in the kind of meat, dairy, and egg industries. It's something we're all kind of used to hearing. But can you really have humane and slaughter together? Do these words, can they coexist? Can you have humane slavery? Can you have humane rape? Can humane go with any of these violent terms? I mean, we're all used to, like I said, we're all used to hearing the words humane, we're all used to hearing the words free range or organic or bio. But what do these words actually mean? I mean, hopefully during this talk I'll be able to kind of open your mind a bit so you can really kind of understand what this means. Because basically, you're all being lied to, if I'm going to be brutally honest. Now, can anyone guess how many people have ever existed since the beginning of time? Anyone want to take a wild guess? Doesn't matter if you're wrong. Go on, have a guess. What do you reckon? Since the beginning of time, ever?
40 billion.
40 billion. Anyone want to check anything out of the numbers in?
20 billion.
20 billion, okay. Well, the actual result is, drum roll please, 107 billion people. That's a hell of a lot of people, right? 107 billion people since the dawn of time have walked this earth. Now, what if I told you that every single year, minimum, we're killing 160 billion animals? We're literally wiping out the entire of human civilization every single year. Now, that is a pretty insane number. And the thing is, this 160 is pretty much a conservative estimate. I mean, it is from USDA stats, which is United States Department of Agriculture. But basically the stats are 60 billion land animals, and in the ocean, 100 billion. But there's been further research to show that from the oceans alone, we could be dragging out 2.7 trillion a year, which is just, that number is just insane. I mean, like I said before, we're wiping out the entire of human civilization and more on a yearly basis. So that's definitely something to kind of think about here. Now I want to start off with showing you guys a short video. It's not going to be particularly nice, but I just want to show you exactly what life is like for some of these farm animals in the farm system. So it's only a couple of minutes long, and if you do feel like looking away, just think to yourself, if it's not good enough for your eyes, then why is it good enough for your stomach? Okay? Okay, so I know that's really not nice to watch at all. There's an important reason why I wanted to show this particular video to you guys though. I mean, one thing you hear from a lot of people when they watch, kind of Slaughterhouse footage, is they always say, this doesn't happen here. They always think it's foreign footage, it's from, from America or from another country. All this footage is all from the UK. This is British thing, and just to put another big shocker on it, all this footage is from within 2 hours of Exeter. I put this all together myself with the help of Animal Aid. This is all local slaughterhouses. So this is, very, very well people may have eaten from these very places. So there is no excuse to say this does not happen near us. This is, as you can tell, these animals are terrified. They do not, they do not want this to happen. Now, this is only a few of the things that happen to animals in our industry. I mean, for those of you not familiar with the egg industry, basically the males in the egg industry are a byproduct. What happens is all the chickens go along the conveyor belt, they pick out the males and the females. All the females will go off to be egg laying or meat hens, and the males, they will literally be gassed alive or put into a mincer alive. And this is seen as standard practice. This is seen as kind of acceptable behaviour by the food industry, which is absolutely disgusting. Also, they're allowed to castrate and tail dot pigs with no anaesthetic whatsoever. They can sear the beaks off of hens to stop them pecking each other. Again, all this is seen as acceptable behaviour. Now, a few things I want to point out about the video. The chickens that you saw on that video, they are from a red tractor high welfare farm. So when I go back to when I'm talking about all these labels, of all these like humane and everything, this is what's classed as high welfare. And you know what's even more ridiculous? This farm was nominated for Dairy Farmer of the Year in 2012. Like, that's absolutely insane. And just to really kind of hone in on how local this is, the turkeys that you saw at the beginning there, they're from a company which happily is now not here, called Torbay Turkeys. And that place was actually 10 minutes away from where I used to live, and I never even knew that place existed. And it's absolutely insane to think that that happened in my own hometown. Besides for me, I think everyone can relate to the death side of the industry, but one thing I think a lot of people don't understand so much is the side of dairy. Now, there's this big myth where a lot of people seem to think that cows just produce milk. Like, they're just born and they produce milk and they have to be milked, or it's almost cruel if we don't milk them. But this is definitely not the case. Like any other animal, to produce milk, an animal needs to be pregnant. And they need to have a child, because the milk is for their child. The majority of the cows these days basically artificially inseminated, and how this is done is one person will normally insert their hand into the rectum of the cow to position the uterus, and then into the vagina they will stick a metal rod to inject them with the semen. Now, going back to what I said before, is there such thing as humane rape or humane sexual assault? This cow cannot consent to us doing this. We have no right to violate this area of a cow. And then obviously once it's gone through the process, and it's, obviously pregnancy, as any woman will know, is not going to be an easy process for any animal. At the end it's going to give birth again, which is going to be stressful. But then what happens with the milk? Because we don't want the baby calf drinking up all the milk. Because if the baby calf drinks the milk, then we're not going to have the milk. And if we don't have the milk, we're not going to make the money. So what happens if the dairy cow is a female cow? It's going to get put back into the system. It's literally going to become another dairy cow. If the cow is male, chances are it's either going to end up as veal, or it's just going to get shot in the head within a few days. They are seen as byproducts. The dairy industry is torture for these animals. Literally, these cows will go over this process again and again and again. And as soon as the cow can't do it anymore, as soon as they can't give enough milk, or they've just given up hope, where are they going to go? The slaughterhouse. The dairy cows die as well. So what I want to quickly show you is just another video here, because I'm sure all the girls in here, especially, can relate to that bond that you would have with a child. So I really want you to see what happens and how a cow reacts when you see its calf get taken away from it.
Ce jeune veau est né pendant la nuit. Il n'a que quelques heures et sa vie commence par un déchirement. À peine mis au monde, il est aussitôt arraché à sa mère. Pour des raisons économiques, il ne profitera pas du lait maternel, ne serait-ce qu'un seul jour. Sa mère est programmée pour produire du lait, pas pour nourrir des veaux, pas même le sien. L'avenir de ce veau est tout tracé. Si c'est une génisse, elle connaîtra le destin de sa mère. Une vie de vache à lait pendant 5 ou 6 ans, avant de finir en steak haché. Si c'est un mâle, sa durée de vie n'excédera pas quelques mois.
I mean, what you've seen there is like you're taking a child away from its mother. I've seen footage of cows literally giving birth, and they literally take it straight away. Like it's literally given seconds to be alive before getting ripped from its mother. We should not be doing this to these animals. One thing we should all accept is that dairy is 100% unnatural for us. We were never ever meant to be consuming milk. I mean, we don't even consume our own mother's breast milk past a few months of our lives. So why on earth would we ever need to take milk from another species? I mean, cow's milk is for baby cows and baby cows only. And this is something we've really got to accept. It's completely ridiculous. You know, we shouldn't be drinking cow's milk the same we shouldn't be drinking dog's milk or giraffe milk or any other milk. Dairy needs to stop, and it is completely and utterly ridiculous. Now, the thing is, I'm sure all of you here, you all love animals, right? I'm sure you've all got pets at home, everything. You've all got, obviously not the shop, but you've all got, you know, cats and dogs that you love. You're probably against kind of fox hunting, or you really, you know, you're against the kind of keeping of the orcas at SeaWorld, or you're against the Yulin Dog Meat Festival, and all that kind of stuff. So you've just really got to think, why is it that we care so much about these animals, but the animals we're seeing in this video, we don't? Like, where does this disconnect come from? Is it the fact that we don't love them, or is it the fact that we've been taught not to love them? Because realistically, from birth, we're the animal's biggest fans. From birth, you put an animal with a child, it's just going to love it. The last thing it wants to do is hurt it. You hurt an animal in front of a child, that child is going to cry and scream until you stop. We don't want these things to happen at all. Now, just to put into context how similar pigs and cats and dogs and cows are, one more video to show you. This is probably going to be the most shocking of them.
Salvador was rescued from a dairy farm in Chile by the Equality Sanctuary Interspecies, and now 6 months later, he loves the affection he receives from the caregivers who saved his life. It's amazing to see how much this cow loves being caressed after a rough start in life. According to the sanctuary, after Salvador was born, he was separated from his mother. He was kept in squalor conditions until he was rescued by the NGO Animal Libre and then adopted by the sanctuary. Since he was brought to the Equality Sanctuary, he began to flourish with bottle feedings, running around the farm, gaining weight, and growing. Now Salvador appears to be doing great in his new home, where a cow truly is a man's best friend.
Okay, so I lied about it being shocking. All it is shockingly cute, right? Really, but you can see how incredible these animals are. These animals just want to be loved. And you know what? For me, I find watching footage like this harder than the Slaughterhouse footage because this is how the animals should be. And it makes me sad for them, watching them be there. These are so happy, and we've got so many that are suffering out there. These animals deserve to be loved and appreciated as much as the cats and the dogs and dolphins and all these other animals that we all, you know, shout and scream about, you know, for their welfare. We need to look after these as well. These are just as important. Now, I guess what we've got to do is think about why we are making these choices. What is it that's in our brain making us not, you know, care and to want to, you know, for these animals to be harmed and for us to consume their flesh or their milk or whatever. And I guess the two reasons that kind of come to mind for most people is that it's normal. We've done it since we can remember. And also the fact that it's natural. We're meant to eat meat, right? So let's have a quick look over those arguments. First of all, we've always done it. Now, it's not a really strong enough excuse. I mean, humans have done some screwed up things in their time. I mean, we used to burn people as witches. We kept black people as slaves. We discriminated against women, making them not have the right to vote. We've done so much wrong in the world. Everything. I don't think that we should be thinking that what our ancestors did was necessarily right. If anything, we should be learning from their mistakes and moving forward. So definitely, just because we've done it for a long time, that doesn't excuse it. It's like bullfighting. Just because they've done it for ages, does it mean we need to be stabbing a bull in a ring where everyone watches? It's just absolutely ridiculous. And the second one is natural. Now, this is something that I took a bit of time to really get my head around, because from what we all know, I mean, straight off, we're not carnivores. If everyone says they're a carnivore, they're not a lion is a carnivore. If we were carnivores, we'd be living off meat and meat alone, and we're definitely not that. But as far as omnivores are concerned, it's like, well, are we? Are we really omnivores? Now, if you put a child in a cot with an apple and a rabbit, what's going to happen? Is that child ever going to try and eat the rabbit? At any point, it's never going to do it, is it? It's going to eat the apple, or it's going to play with the rabbit. We have no carnivorous instincts at all. We have no hunting instincts. In fact, humans are the worst hunters of all time. Take away our weapons completely, and then let's see what we can do. I mean, there's always that thing, obviously if you're a vegan, you're going to know this one well, there's always this thing of, so what about if you're on a desert island with a cow? So my reply towards this is, well, I'm taking it to a desert island, which means there's nothing around, right? What are you going to do? Are you just going to drop kick it in the head and hope it dies? You could literally stand there and punch a cow for a good minute, and it would probably just stand there and look at you and be like, what are you doing? We have no possible, killing a cow is near impossible. And even if you did manage to kill the cow, just say you managed, I don't know how you did it, you just managed to find a weak spot in the cow and took it down. Please try and eat through a dead cow corpse. Have you ever tried to bite through a leather sofa? If you haven't, please go and try it at home. This will be quite similar to eating through a dead cow. People think these canines are for eating through meat. If it is, why do we struggle eating a steak, for God's sake? It's insane. I don't know if anyone's familiar with a YouTuber called Fun for Louie. There's a video of him eating a roadkill rabbit. He basically found it on the road and he decided he was going to eat it. It took him ages just to get through the skin. And then when he did finally get through, he was almost sick because of all the bile and all the muscles. Is this a sign of a species that's really meant to eat meat? We can't do it at all. It's utter craziness. I don't even know what to say about this. But just say all this was rubbish, right? Just say all this is rubbish and we were meant to eat meat. There's one major question that we all should ask ourselves is, do we need meat to survive? Or any animal products to survive? And the answer to this is no. And if anyone needs any evidence of this, I can point to a few people in this room that are not eating any animal products whatsoever, and they're probably quite healthy, quite get on with their lives. We do not need it at all. And the thing is, animal products are not only taking animals' lives, but they're also a major factor in our environment and also our personal health as well, which is something else we should really bear in mind. Has anyone seen Cowspiracy? Obviously, we know you haven't seen Cowspiracy, yeah? Oh, obviously, you'll know from Cowspiracy that animal agriculture is basically the #1 cause of greenhouse gases into our atmosphere, more than all transport combined. Cow farts. Cow farts are more damaging to the environment than the entire of transport. Absolutely insane. It's also the #1 cause of deforestation, the #1 cause for other species going extinct, the #1 cause of the ocean being destroyed. I mean, you think about all these trawlers literally ripping up the coral reefs and the beds and everything. Animal agriculture is literally the world's #1 environmental problem here. And also, besides the environment, what about our own personal health? What is eating animal products doing to us? Things like heart disease, and actually we don't even need to talk about that. You've probably all seen there's been a report recently from the World Health Organization saying that processed meat and red meat are carcinogenic. They can actually help develop cancer. Doesn't this say enough that we're not meant to be eating these products? And to all the people that were complaining about it on Facebook, Did they really think that bacon was a health food? Did they really think this was good for them? Because if they did, they were a little bit, not kind of with it anyway. It's been shown that there's a really famous vegan doctor called, oh my god, I can't remember his name now, I'm going to have to add this into the video here. Basically, he did a video, he runs a website called nutritionfacts.org, and he did this, what's it? Dr. McGregor? Dr. McGregor, that's the one. Yeah, he did a video recently showing the top 15 causes of death within the US and everything, and he went through and showed how a plant-based diet can help in every single one of them but one. And the only one he couldn't help with was accidental injury. Like literally if you fell over. That's the only thing a plant-based diet can do. So if you eat lots of fruit and veggies, you can still fall over and die. So we can't help you with that anyway. Okay, but basically, yeah. The point is, we've gone too far with all this. Like I said, we're killing billions and billions of animals. We're destroying the environment. It's affecting our health. And realistically, we need to stop. We need to move forward. It's 2016 now. We're all, intelligent people. We do not need to be eating these products and causing harm. Realistically, veganism should be the moral baseline in exactly the same way as walking down the road and knowing not to punch people is. Like, you don't do it because it's wrong. And that's literally it. Now, the good thing about all this is obviously we can do something about it, which is great. And that is obviously called becoming a vegan or eating a vegan diet or whatever you want to call it. And all it really involves is just taking what we're eating and wearing and things now and just swapping them with an alternative. And the thing is, there are so many alternatives out there. If anyone's worried about being going vegan and thinking, like, oh my god, what am I going to eat? I'm not going to be able to live off anything. My standard diet is chips, pizzas, lasagna, fajitas, cottage pie, stir fries, pretty much everything everyone else eats. It's that simple. What you do is you replace the meat with something else, and there is so much available, and there's more and more becoming available every single day. Like literally in the last week alone, Ben & Jerry's just announced they're doing dairy-free ice cream. We can now eat chocolate fudge brownie ice cream. Dairy-free, like how amazing is that? Hellmann's mayonnaise have just announced they are doing a vegan mayonnaise. This is just going to continue and continue and continue as this movement grows. So even if you kind of go into it now and think, oh my god, I'm finding this a little bit tricky, chances are 6 months down the line it's going to be even easier. So that there's really kind of no excuse for us to be doing this. Just as kind of a little bit of examples of what is out there, stuff like vegetarians here, you may obviously eat corn, or maybe like Linda McCartney sausages. Linda McCartney stuff, the sausages are vegan, absolutely fine, you carry on with that. Corn have released 2 new vegan products. You can now get the chicken chunks and spicy burgers. So you can still eat corn. You just grab the vegan ones. If you pop into anything like Holland and Barrett or anything like that, you can pick up fries. Fries do everything from spicy prawns to kind of chicken strips to pies, and there's so much choice. And with cheese as well. If you want cheese, there's brands like Violife out there, Gusto. Violife is incredible, by the way. If there's one I'll suggest, it's Violife. You can also get a Violife pizza cheese, amazing for all your pizzas, loving life. And the cool thing is, being in Exeter as well, which you might not realise, all of you, you've got a mini vegan supermarket behind the Odeon. Like, you can literally go in there and get everything you need, from whether it's your toiletries and cosmetics, which are all kind of animal friendly, or if you just want to pick up your food bits. It's all really simple, and even not going there, I shop at Asda most of the time, and I get everything I need there. Don't forget the basics, all your fruits, your veggies, your rice, your pastas, falafel, tofu, all this kind of stuff. There's so much out there. And obviously you might think, well, yeah, eating at home, that's doable, but eating out, that's where it's going to become problematic. The thing is, that's not really the case either. There are so much things out there. Like, did you know that Nando's have about 15 vegan different combinations you can have now? Nando's! Like chicken kings of the world. I won't call them kings because assholes are doing that. But chicken people. Yeah, vegan options. Nando's are really good for vegans. You can even order Pizza Hut. You just literally, just say you don't want the cheese, and as long as you get it on a gluten-free or pan base, all vegan friendly, which is great. There's websites like Happy Cow. Go on Happy Cow, tells you all the places around that you can eat. Even Wetherspoons now does a vegan menu. So, and the thing is, as I said before, this is just going to continue and continue and continue. Just so you know, I'm not from Exeter. I'm actually from a town called Torquay. Torquay is not a big town at all. And if I can manage it in Torquay, if you're living anywhere bigger than a small seaside town, you're going to find it so much easier than me. Let's just kind of bust a few myths as well. There's a few things that people kind of are also concerned about, and that kind of comes to the kind of nutritional value of a vegan diet. There's a big protein out there, a big myth, about protein, about where am I going to get my protein from? And the good answer is from all the plants, because that's exactly where the animals are getting the protein from as well. Every single vitamin, mineral you will ever need, you can get from the plants. Everything. The only one which may be a slight exception is what's called B12. And now B12 is basically a bacteria which is found in the soil. And we used to get it years ago, because obviously we'd eat things from the soil and we'd take it in naturally. But now, because all our food is so clean and everything, we don't tend to pick up on it anymore. So for vegans, there's a lot of fortified things, especially like things like the milks, like things like Alpro and stuff like that. A lot of them are B12 fortified, so you can get your B12 there. And if you're really concerned, you can always have a B12 supplement, or you can, or have a B12 supplement, I guess. That's really the answer to that. But yeah, it's really not difficult. And just so you know, I've never taken a supplement in my life. I was vegetarian for 15 years, been vegan for over a year now, and I've never taken one supplement. And I think you can probably tell I'm definitely not dying. I have no medical illnesses whatsoever. I've got tons of energy, if you can't realise that already. And I'd consider myself moderately healthy. Definitely not really healthy. I spend way too much time sat down eating vegan junk food. But I'm still alive. But yeah, and the animals, the only reason they're getting their B12, especially with the cows, is because a lot of the time they're supplemented it as well. Because the cows are eating a lot of the same stuff we are, with the corn and all that kind of stuff, a lot of that's clean as well. So they actually give the cows B12 supplements. So realistically, you've got nothing to worry about. And if you want extra proof, just go onto YouTube and Google a guy called Patrick Baboumian. He was Germany's strongest man in 2011. This guy is huge, and he's fully vegan. And he also holds like 3 or 4 world records, strongman records now. So if anyone thinks vegans are weak, please challenge Patrick Baboumian, because he will literally kick your ass. He is so hardcore. If you're watching Ninja Warrior recently, if you've seen that on TV, a guy called Tim Sheaf, he's like a big parkour guy. Again, completely vegan. And he's just insane, like absolutely mental. Look those guys up. So, basically, what it comes down to is we can make a change really, really easily. We do not need to be doing all of this stuff that I've been showing you. All we need to do is just change our mindset and say, I'm not going to eat this, I'm going to eat this. And it really is as simple as that. It's literally as simple as that. And the hardest part is just the knowledge, just relearning it, because obviously it is a bit different. You're going to You're going to walk into a supermarket and be a bit like, well, where do I start? And everything. But you just got to think about it logically, where you start. There's a huge fresh produce aisle there, with all your vegetables, all that kind of stuff. Fine. There's a free-from range if you want some stuff there. There'll be, there's a lot of kind of dairy-free stuff, all that kind of stuff. In the freezers, you're going to get all your Linda McCartney stuff, your corn stuff. The world food section, you're going to get all your stuff for curries. It's all there. You've just got to think about it a little bit more logically. And realistically, once you've done it for about a month, going to the supermarket is heaven. Because literally, you walk in and you go, I'm going to ignore half of the supermarket. You don't need that. You just go to the aisles you know, and it makes your shopping like 10 times quicker. Here's my kind of thing to kind of say here. I mean, obviously some of you are vegan, but to the people here that are to the vegetarian, you've got a bit of a choice today, okay? You can leave this room today and know that you'll never harm another animal, ever again, for any of your meals. There's not many causes in the world where you can literally make an instant decision right there on the spot, which is going to have such a big impact. Not only that, you're also going to be helping towards some of the biggest environmental problems on this planet. Or you can kind of leave, not take it on board, and some of the stuff I'm showing you is just going to keep on happening. The only way this is going to stop is if everybody just wakes up, sees this is wrong, and we all just go, enough. This doesn't need to happen anymore.